I want to tell you a little bit about myself to begin with. I've been serving as mayor of the city of Detroit on an acting basis for a little less than 5 months now. I took office back in September of last year, specifically September 19th, after my predecessor had to step down under circumstances I don't think I need to recount for anyone, unless one of you's been living in Siberia for the past year. I think everybody's pretty well up to snuff as it relates to what happened in that particular situation. So I took office in September 19th, and again, I've been serving as acting mayor ever since then. That makes me a relative newcomer to the mayor's office. It does not, however, make me a newcomer to city government, because prior to serving as mayor, I actually served on the Detroit City Council for what would have been 11 years in December had I not had to make that transition. And even prior to that, I also served at another level of government. The first major political office that I ever held was actually a Wayne County Commission seat. I ran for the Wayne County Commission in a district that represented the southwest part of the city back in 1994. I ran against an incumbent. It was nothing personal, I just thought I could do a better job, and evidently the voters agreed because they chose to put me in that seat. So I served on the Wayne County Commission for one full term and then subsequently ran for re-election and got elected, but I only did half of my second term on the county commission, and the reason why is because I got to a point where I decided that if I really wanted to effectively serve my constituents and the people of Detroit, county government was probably not the best place for me to be. And I came to the conclusion that city government was really where it was at and really where I needed to be in order to make a difference. So, how we coming on that water?
I saw somebody.
But anyway, like I was saying, so I ran for the Detroit City Council back in 1997 and was successful in winning a seat that was being vacated at that time by Mel Ravitz, a long-serving council member who chose to retire in that year. So I won that seat, and then subsequently in 2001, I ran for re-election a second time. And at that point, not only did I get re-elected, but I also got elevated to the position of President Pro Tem, based on being the second highest vote getter in that year's council election. Then in 2005, I ran for city council for a third time, and at that point, being the highest vote getter in that particular election, I became the president of city council. And again, served in that capacity up until 2005, well, actually September of last year, when I had to become mayor. During the time that I was on city council, I tried to make a couple things my focus. One was trying to improve the business climate here in the city of Detroit, particularly for small businesses and for Detroit-based businesses. As a matter of fact, the very first piece of legislation that I wrote when I was on city council was something called the Prompt Payment Ordinance. And that's an ordinance that actually regulates the city and its departments, and it mandates that the city actually pay its vendors in a timely fashion for the work that they have done in good faith or for the service or product that they may have rendered. The reason why I felt that that was important is at that time, Detroit, unlike a number of other cities and even closer to home, unlike Wayne County, didn't have a prompt payment ordinance. And the reason why it's of critical importance is that, for example, if you're IBM and the city doesn't pay you in a timely fashion for the work that you've done, IBM's going to be okay. I mean, even in, well, maybe not in this economy, but probably. Now, if you're a small janitorial company located on the east side of the city of Detroit, you were counting on that city contract to be the thing that was really going to put you on the map and be a catalyst for you being able to land other large municipal contracts or corporate clients. So if you were counting on that contract, maybe Detroit's your biggest client, and then you don't get paid in a timely fashion for the work that you have done, you may go out of business waiting to get paid. And that's why that ordinance really, in my view, was very critical. Some of the other things that I did during my time on city council is I would actually host an annual town hall meeting on how to start your own business, or if you're an existing business owner but you want to grow that business and take it to the next level, we would basically do that. That was the focus. We would do it every year, every fall on an annual basis. We'd bring in folks like, for example, SBA representatives, people that actually own businesses in the city of Detroit so that they could talk about their experience, some of the pitfalls that they fell into, the mistakes they made, but also the things that they did that worked and the strategies that continue to allow them to keep their heads above water. So that's one of the other things that I did as part of my focus on city council, consistent with that theme of trying to improve the business climate here in the city of Detroit. I also had another focus of trying to improve city service delivery and improve the quality of life in neighborhoods. So, for example, another ordinance that I wrote is an ordinance called the Gateway Radial Thoroughfare Ordinance, which actually seeks to prevent the further spread and overconcentration of liquor stores, pawn shops, and other businesses that can be potentially harmful to the quality of life in neighborhoods. And I don't have anything against alcohol, but the thing is, I don't think we need the liquor store on every single corner. And unfortunately, in some areas of the city, that's what we have. So the purpose of that ordinance really was to try to prevent that from occurring in the future as we continue to rebuild and redevelop the city. The one thing that nobody's making any more of is land. So I think we have to be very strategic about how we use the land that we've got.